All right, yo.
What's up, man?
Welcome to another episode of Weirdinary. Today I have a very special guest. He is a licensed realtor with KW Platform, selling nearly $9 million in sales volume in 2024, ranking amongst New York's top producing agents. He's a father of 2 young boys, a former executive director of Grateful Villages. That's a nonprofit organization focused on serving the community. Hell, at just 9, he began volunteering for local nonprofits to raise money for families in need. This man is an ethical competitor and an inspiration for business and personal growth. Jordan Gigliotti. Please tell me your last name again.
Gigliotti.
Jordan Gigliotti.
I appreciate you.
How the fuck are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is super exciting.
Dude, it's wonderful to have, bro, you're an extremely busy man. You know what I mean? I follow you on Facebook. I've been following you on Facebook even during my failed tenure as a fucking realtor. Even when I was struggling, I'm looking at your goddamn posts. I'm like, yo, if this guy can do it, I got to be able to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just looking at you, man. Closing properties, fucking multi-families, single families. Do you also do commercial, or is it just...
Yeah, so I've done commercial properties, but I really try to stick to single family and multi-family properties up to 4 units.
Yeah. I mean, dude, bro, you're a fucking machine.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that so much.
Man is a beast, bro. He's a fucking real estate titan, man. And you're so humble with it. You know what I'm saying? And I know that there's a level of flair. There's got to be a level of confidence, of self-assuredness that I know has to come with the success. But you carry yourself with, just from what I'm able to see, a sense of gratitude.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And what I want to understand, I want to ask you this question before we go ahead and move backwards and then make our way back to the present. What's interesting to me, my friend, is you didn't begin with real estate, but you were servicing others. That said, at what point did your philosophy of serving others evolve into helping them build wealth through real estate?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that I always had a passion to serve people in different ways. I think real estate is the front line for being able to build generational wealth, something that I don't come from. I did not come from generational wealth, any type of wealth, or even knowledge of wealth creation. So as I started to kind of like embark on my journey, I just wanted to be able to help other people, especially people that come from, where I come from. And so, that really was, pretty much why I started to, I kind of transitioned from being an executive director of a nonprofit local grassroots organization in the city of Albany to real estate sales.
Okay, rock and roll. And you say you didn't come from any sort of generational wealth or whatever. Do you believe? So what? You came from like a working class background, sort of?
No. I came from single parent households. My mother was a single parent. My father passed away when I was 9. So,
oh wow.
And I grew up with my mom and my grandmother, and so Section 8 housing, food pantries,
holy
welfare.
Shit. Yeah. So that's what provided the flair in you, the fire in you to want to help people, but also instilled the hunger in you to want to give yourself more and eventually your children,
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. Do you believe
appreciation for paradise can exist without adversity?
No. Because you won't appreciate the paradise without the adversity, because you don't know the stark differences between them both. So, for me at least, that, I think that you need to see a level of adversity or challenge to be able to appreciate, paradise or reward.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
So that said, really diving into your early years,
You said your father passed when you were 9.
That's right.
I mean, well, first off, I mean, how the hell did that hit you? I mean, that's your first idea of that's your first male role model.
Yeah.
Right. That's the first example of what a man is supposed to be.
Sure.
You know what I mean? What you aspire to be. I mean, like, how did that affect you? I mean, at 9 years old, your brain is so far from being fully developed. I mean, you barely understand the world around you.
Yeah.
If you can remember, I mean, how did that feel for you? How did you process? What did the world feel like, you know?
Yeah, it was cold. You know, it was a cold time of year. My dad died in January, so it's just a cold time of year. It was also very sudden. I didn't really know. You know, he passed away from liver failure from alcoholism.
Wow.
And so and hepatitis C. So, you know, I didn't fully understand what was happening. I just knew that, like, last time I spoke to my dad, we were arguing. He was drunk. It was like right after Christmas, and we were arguing. And then, you know, what my dad would do is he would repeatedly call. This when we had landlines. He would repeatedly call the house. So what my mom would do is she would unplug the phone for days, so he wouldn't be able to get in contact because he would just like call and ramble and want to argue with my mom. So we had that argument. She pulled the plug, and then 2 days later he was in a coma, and a day later he passed away from liver failure. So. You know, that was tough, man. That was tough as a young boy. I grew up in Section 8 project housing in Rockland County. You know, male role models are really important to boys, so to kids in general. But you know, after that, you have nobody to look up to, like, as a man.
Yeah.
You know, there's no like image of like what a man is supposed to do, or how they're supposed to move or treat people or treat women. I had none of that. Right? And so when you grow up in you know, an urban community such as I did, surrounded by poverty, you know, you look at other types of men, role models that you know, aren't real role models, you know.
Who were some people, the types of people that you say that you looked up to that may not have been the best, that weren't the best, obviously?
Yeah, people that had instant gratification.
Of
Course. You know, so it was like, because like when you're from a low income, you know, poor community, like the things that stick out are like who has the flyest Jordans on, you know, like who has like these flashy cars or like whatever, and all these like intrinsic, all these like things, material items that really don't matter.
Yeah.
But in that world, it matters so much, and especially as a young man or a young boy, you know, you gravitate towards that. So a lot of people, you know, I was always, you know, it was just the dudes on the block.
Yeah.
Dudes on the block that had, you know, some gold chains, a little bit of money in their pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I experienced a lack of love, a void. And have you experienced that yourself?
Yeah, in different capacities, right?
Different capacity.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, sometimes, like, you know, it can be in a relationship where you're, you know, in maybe a codependent relationship, right? And I've been in many of those where it's very unhealthy, or, you know, you might not feel like you're being seen by a parent, or, you know, somebody that you look up to. I mean, I've definitely felt that void in different capacities, for sure.
Let me ask you, outside of your father dying, because that's obviously a monumental part of your childhood, what experience do you believe shaped the person you are more than any other?
Yeah, I think I was naturally always an entrepreneur. I think I was born, my brain, I always thought in this way. For example, when I was and I don't know if it was just out of survival because, I did think, for example, when I was in first grade, I used to sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards, right? And
I used to steal them.
you used to steal them, right? Yeah, dude. But what I would do, what I found is that there was this dollar store, and I would go to this dollar store, and the dollar store back in the day would have a pack of fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right? But if you know Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they have pointy edges, and Pokemon cards, they have the rounded edges, right? So these were Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but with the rounded edges, so they looked fake, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So, and they had the fake hologram,
Yeah,
the sticker, right?
Oh,
and
shit,
so
yo.
what I would do is I would go and I would buy maybe like one or two. I only had like a couple dollars, and I would take that and I would spend all day, all night cutting the edges to make them look like real Pokemon cards. Real Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And then I would go to my school and I would sell each card for $1. There's 52 cards in a pack. So I remember coming back and I would come back with like stacks of money, stacks of dollars in my pocket.
Oh shit!
And then my mom was like, "What is happening?" I was like a couple $100, in first grade. Right?
You're fucking rich, bro.
Right? Dude, and especially from where I'm from.
Yeah.
Like, where like my mom couldn't even, and she was an amazing woman, but she just didn't have the means. Like if I wanted to go and get a slice of pizza, like I couldn't ask my mom for a couple dollars, right? And so I don't know if there was survival, but I always did that. Like snow too, I'm sure that you could relate. Kids used to go out shoveling.
That's a
right?
fact, yeah.
When I saw snow, I would see money, dude. That's all I saw. So like I would be, and I'm talking, this was like 8, 9 years old. Like I'm waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, trying to beat everyone else because they're my competition. And I'm going out, I'm like knocking on doors, 6:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 8-year-old kid just trying to, make a couple dollars. So I always kind of had this, like, it was like natural. I don't know how to explain it. And I just took that. And so I think that is what I had other, a lot of catastrophic events happen in my life, but I would say in terms of like business and how I look at work ethic, that is definitely what started.
God damn.
Started it, yeah, for sure.
Dude, that's incredible.
Candy too. Candy was always big. So where I'm from Rockland County. I'm from Nyack. So there's something called the Nyack Street Fair. And so what I would do you remember the TV dinner like tables?
Yes, the foldable
foldable tables.
Yeah, I still have those. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, dude, I had one of those, and I would go and I would try to sneak because like you would get in trouble because you're supposed to pay for a booth. So I would like sneak around and try to find a spot where like people could see me, but I could be there for a little while, and I would just like sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards and action figures and and so from like such a young, and I thought that was normal, like and so dude, I always had that.
I mean, it goes without saying that you were a very gifted young man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
In that way, I guess.
Yeah.
Academically, I didn't do too well, but
I mean, it's possible that you just weren't challenged in the right way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bro, I'm telling you. I mean, hell, somebody such as yourself. I mean, you obviously have always had a good understanding of economics. You know what I mean?
So like very I don't know how to say it. Very like not basic, just a natural, like I know if I can make $1 and it takes me 50 cents to make this $1, like just putting it together. Okay, that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Opposed to like I would go to school and I really wouldn't do too well academically. But when it came to like being able to make money, generate money, I was always pretty good at that. I also I did onstage theater for a long time. Yeah, so when I was a young kid, I wanted to be an actor, and so
I can see that.
Yeah. And I love I loved acting. I loved onstage acting. I'm such a theater geek. Like people like don't know that. You know what I mean? Like there's like come up. I love like music. I love like theater and movies.
You said you were interviewing rappers before, and so you're very much you're very much immersed in the arts and stuff. Okay.
I love music.
Wow.
I grew up like my mom was a really big part of. There was like a small community theater in Nyack. It's called the Elmwood Theater, and my mom and my grandma used to clean the theater, and I used to go there. And I would just watch, like off Broadway, like Neil Simon, like very like niche type of skits, and I loved it. And yeah, and I think they say like failed actors become real estate agents.
I mean, fair. I can see. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'm like, well, I'll take it.
I mean, not for nothing, bro. I mean, you never know, man.
Yes.
You never know. You can probably make another run at that shit at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But real estate is definitely theater. I mean, in reality, life is theater.
Life is theater.
You know what I'm saying? If you're in sales and shit, you're selling yourself ultimately.
Always.
You know what I'm saying?
Always, yeah.
Whether you're given a script and you have to rewrite it in your own voice, or you come up with the script, either way, there's a script, you're on stage, there's a spectator, if not spectators, what's the show?
Sure.
You know 100%, what I'm saying?
100%.
So, I mean, finding success in realty and in sales in general, I mean, you really got to be able to, you got to know how to work the crowd. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to work people. You got to know what you're selling. You got to know how to sell it, and you got to be able to transfer energy. It's a transfer of energy.
That's all it is.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all it is at its core. But also, what I'm, if I could add on to that, would be there has to be a level of authenticity to the sale.
100%.
Like to sales, self authenticity. Mm-hmm. See, the problem. And I love sales. I love integrity-based sales, because if you are somebody that wants to serve somebody, sales is one of the best places to do that, because most of the time, if you're selling and you have a client, the client is in need of something, right? And so in my case, I take on clients, different people from everywhere, but they all have a common goal. Usually, they either need to buy or sell real estate, and I'm looking to serve them in that way, and not to be inauthentic to myself. When you get into real estate, and I'm sure you know, because you were in real estate, it's like you have a broker that will be like, oh, okay, well, like, call your center of influence.
Yeah.
Here's a script. Read the script. And say it in this way, but don't say it like the way you're saying. I'll give you a quick story.
Please.
So my first office was I was at Coldwell Banker.
Yes.
And I had a great mentor. Shout out Jillian Breck. She's awesome. She's at Howard Hanna right now, top real estate agent. Love her to death. I was so blessed to have her in my life. But when I first got into real estate, I was a cold caller. I still cold call.
Okay.
And I remember there would be people that would listen to me call, and they would laugh at me, and they would say like, "Oh, like you say dude and man too much to people."
Yeah.
Right. And they put a dude and man jar. Right. I was supposed to drop $1 every time
you said it.
Every time I said it. Right. And then, at first, because these were like people that were like creating result, I had no result, right? So like I had no sales, nothing. So I would get really discouraged. But also, what I realized is that when I would go and meet people in person and I was able to truly connect with them, it didn't matter if I said dude or man or that level of language, depending on the situation, because it was authentic to who I am. It's like the way I was saying it was very authentic to me.
Yes.
And so then I was like, and then I was also creating result. And I just like took off. All right. And then And I was like, dude, I don't care what these guys are saying. Like what they're saying is they're going in and they're being authentic to themselves. Mm-hmm. And maybe that, that level of language isn't for them. That's fine.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, listen, if I'm speaking to an older gentleman, which I do really well with like the older crowd, because I'm very respectful, I'm not going to go be like, yo, what's good, bro?
Yeah.
Yo, what's good, bro? Yo, you trying to sell this out? Like, I'm not, that's just not me.
Code switching. You know how to maneuver within the crowds and shit. Yeah, I get it.
But it's not going to be an inauthentic part of me, though.
Yes.
Because there has to be different like shades of me.
Yes.
Right? And so like I have like a shade of me that's very respectful and. But then I have a shade of me that I can, try to walk down any block and try to talk to whoever. You know what I mean? And so, what I love the most, man, is being able to like when I worked as executive director for Grateful Villages, our office was on First and Quayle Street.
Okay.
In Albany.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Supposedly that's the worst block, one of the worst blocks, like Judson.
Yeah,
all of that right there.
I used to stomp around those spots. Absolutely, yeah.
Dude. And I'm like this like random white guy just like walking around like the middle of the hood. I'm not from here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like if you're authentic, I think people on such a natural level, human level, will be able to, even if they don't like your character, they can respect
you. Absolutely.
Authenticity.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so you could, being able to do that is, that's sales, dude. Mm-hmm. It's not persuasion. It's not me making you do something that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. It's me figuring out it's me figuing out if what I'm selling makes sense for you. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't make sense, we're good. I'm not sitting here going to convince you to do something that you don't want to do. And I think that people often think that sales is like that level of like sleazy persuasion.
That's a fact.
Which it is sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're the salesperson that's like in a cheap suit that with the slick back, greasy, and like, and trying to, and like using language and over promising and under delivering. And those are my enemies. I cannot stand a person that's looking to take advantage of another person.
And it's funny because like you're about integrity-based sales now, but like as a kid, you just had to sort of fake it until you made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because but just it's almost like creating counterfeit bills almost in a way. Absolutely. You know what I mean? But dude, just the focus, the determination to sit there and cut it just to make them look authentic. I mean, you weren't lazy about it.
No.
Like you put everything you had into that shit from a very young age,
And my kids, I have 2 boys and I have a daughter on the way. And
congratulations.
Thank you so much. I
appreciate bro.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I tell my boys all the time, like I care more about how they show up to school than actually getting the good grades. Mm-hmm. Like I would rather them build character that they can take into the world, than opposed to knowing some information they may not use.
It's about you gotta praise the effort.
That's right.
More so than the result.
That's right. Well, I'm also a really results-based person. So on the flip side of that, I really focus. I was just having this conversation of the difference between signal and noise. And,
okay.
Are you familiar with Kevin O'Leary? He's
that's my guy. Yo, I fuck with Shark Tank. Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah.
So,
he's a dick. He was a dick. I mean, he's gotten a lot better.
Got a lot better. So that was the thing. He was talking about entrepreneurs and being able to, focus on signal, meaning creating results and taking care of very, very specific but boring tasks, opposed to signal and noise. Yeah. And opposed to, the static of just being, for example, as a real estate agent, there's always 1,000 different ways to get business. All right, so it's like, make social media content, make a bunch of videos, right? And it's like, but what is like the thing that actually drives sales? Is it, maybe it is social media content. I don't know. Is it just finding and just going to talk to people? Like, picking up a phone, right? And so I was trying, I'm always trying to stay focused on what creates results, opposed to what seems like it creates result based on, everyone else just like talking about it, just like some like distraction almost, you know what I mean? Because that happens a lot, especially in sales.
Dude, I love the way you approach capitalism.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You gotta be delicate, you know?
Yeah,
you
bro. That's why I said, like, you're an ethical competitor. You know what I mean? Because you're out here competing, but, it's like you're a gladiator, but you're not going for the nuts.
Yeah.
Or the you know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
You got honor. Sure. You know what I'm saying?
No, and that's like, I love Japanese culture for that.
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm a big fan because honor is such a big part of Japanese culture. Right? And so if you look at, and again, coming from a place of like, who teaches you honor? Your dad.
Yeah,
right? Generally.
Yeah.
And as a boy, as a man, you learn that. And so I didn't have that. Like, I didn't have that, like, what's the honorable decision in this? I had to learn that the very hardest way that a boy can.
You had to put your hand on the fucking stovetop to learn not to touch it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, that's the only way that I was able to learn. And maybe if my dad, ended up, maybe in the multiverse, and there's a version of me that my dad didn't die, maybe that, I would have still had to learn that way. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those things for sure.
I think when you have to learn things in such an emotional way, those are the best lessons because you don't fucking forget them.
No, man.
You know what I mean? That's why I say, like, there's a difference between a teacher and an educator. A teacher just presents you with the information that gets you through the semester or year.
Sure.
An educator knows how to tap into your fucking spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your fucking soul. There's a lot of people, like, motherfuckers that I didn't necessarily like in high school or middle school, but they made me feel a certain way. I still think about them today.
You don't even remember what they generally say, right?
Type shit, yeah. I just remember how I felt.
how they make you feel, right?
Yeah,
that's how I approach sales. I want to approach sales and being so emotionally impactful that, like, no matter what, you might forget what I say, but more so you'll remember me because I made you, my goal is to make you feel a way that's, again, not inauthentic. I want it to be authentic. One of the first things I say to a seller when I'm sitting down at their kitchen table on a listing presentation is, do I have your permission to be brutally honest with you?
I like that.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I may not be the agent for you.
I saw a video you put up about that. Yeah, you were in a phone call. It was a tough process to get to the close. Yeah.
And I because the reality is, if I'm the agent for everyone, if I'm trying to be the agent for everyone, I'm going to be the agent for no one.
You're not being authentic.
Because I'm not going to be able to 100% serve the people that we actually click with. There are people that I've been fired. I've been, I've been not picked. I lose a lot more than I win, and I think that. It's okay because, maybe somebody else is supposed to serve that person.
I think it happens for a reason.
And that has to happen for a reason,
yeah.
Right? And so, okay, cool. Because I know I serve people based on the level of competency that I provide. at the end of the day, I'm not the smartest person. At the end of the day, I'm not like the wealthiest person, or I may not have all of the marketing right now, but I know I'm competent enough to make it happen for somebody, to create a real result of buying or selling real estate or investing. I'm 100% confident in being able to do that.
That mindset tells me that you're smarter than you realize.
His name is Brandon Mulrennan. I'm probably saying your name wrong. I'm sorry. Your last name, dude. I'm sorry. He's awesome. He's out of Michigan. He's been in real estate for 20 years. He's great. And one thing that he often teaches is just being able to not be pushy. Like I'm never looking to come from a place of, again, from taking advantage of a situation or making somebody do something that they don't want to do.
Yeah,
that's not sales. That's just manipulating. That's just manipulating somebody, taking advantage of somebody. It's like it's like people are like like they might have like an older woman that's looking to downsize, right? Maybe her husband passed away or something like that, right? And she has like 2,300 square foot house, all the bedrooms are upstairs. She needs a ranch style home, right? And it's like, that person you're able to serve, but maybe what about if that person doesn't want to sell? And then you're just trying to force her into selling her house where she doesn't want to. Yeah. Right?
But it benefits you. So it's like, fuck it, let me figure out how to make this work for her.
Maybe, yeah. She doesn't want to make it work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like logic. So like that's why, like, I explain to clients all the time, especially in real estate sales, you got logic, and then you got emotion way up here. And emotion drives real estate sales, not logic, generally.
Interesting.
And Spectre, I'm mostly saying on residential, like primary residence, single family home sales, not, I work with a lot of investors that are very savvy and logical, and it's really all about the numbers. And the thing could be falling down. They don't care if it makes money.
Yeah.
That's different. That's a different type of client. They're less emotional. That's why you see more men. So women, real estate sales is mostly driven by women. That's fair to say.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
But in the investment real estate space, there's a lot of, it's flipped. There's a lot more men in the commercial space.
What do you think that is?
Because it's more logical than emotional. Because Because you need more patience with an emotional buyer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need more patience because I could be shopping around with a couple, and which is very common. I was just with a couple today, and you can, on paper, this house makes sense for you. But if she does not walk into that house and feel something, it doesn't matter.
Forget about it. Yeah.
It does not matter. So oftentimes you have to have a lot of patience in real estate sales, and especially the residential space. And understand that emotion is what drives the sale, not logic.
Damn, bro. I never thought about it like that. I never had anybody break it down like that before, bro. That's what's up, man. My next question for you: what insecurity has followed you the longest, and how has it influenced the way you move through life?
That's a great question. You ask great questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, insecurity. I think I'm always thinking I'm not good enough for something to be in a room. Again, I come from, nothing, and so when you come from that, I think you sometimes feel like you don't deserve the things that you could acquire,
the devil,
or be around a certain type of person, because maybe I might feel like they're better than me in some way. So that definitely that definitely influenced. For example, where I'm from, a lot of wealth.
Yes.
Very wealthy.
Yeah,
where I'm from,
yeah.
around downstate, Rockland County, Westchester, the Bronx area. But there's a lot of poverty. So when you go to school, like you would go to like I would go to a play date. It's like a multi-million-dollar house, dude. I'm coming from like, there's a dude smoking crack in front of my door all day. You know what I'm saying?
In a different world.
So like the parents don't even want to like drop me off in front of my building.
Oh, shit.
Like my mom has to walk around the block to go get me and bring me inside, right? And so it's like, when you come from that, you feel like from such a young age, I felt like I didn't belong in certain conversations. And so,
God damn.
yeah, it's tough.
What was your relationship like with your mother, and how did that influence your perception on women as you grew older?
Yeah, that's a great question. It definitely, I was very resentful of my mother because I felt that she never really, she was such a loving, amazing woman, but she never, when I was a kid, I would get really upset because I'm like, well, why don't you have a job? Like, why don't you do these things? Like why can't you do something to provide to get us a better life and not live where we're living, or have to not go to a church or a food pantry, or live off of food stamps and stuff like that. I was very resentful in that way. And I think that is what drove me also to create results, right? At such a young age, I'd be like, well, if she's not going to do it, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? And it was that. So it was very complicated. I think at the end of the day, my mom died when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
So,
rest in peace, okay.
I had a very, very, my mom, she was she had some undiagnosed mental health issue for sure.
I was just gonna ask, did she have depression?
I'm not entirely sure. She loved music. She loved Rick Springfield. I don't know.
I know Rick Springfield.
Yeah. He has one song that everybody knows, and everybody. But so she, Jesse's Girl, everybody knows it. And so it's and she would sit in her room and just listen to music and not really apply herself. You get comfortable, you get complacent, especially when the government is paying for your living. You know what I mean? It's just and you might not want. It's not that you don't want more. It's just that you're comfortable.
Comfort overrides awareness.
But I think ultimately, she died from cancer, and it was very sudden. It was rough to watch.
What kind of cancer was it?
Cervical cancer.
Okay.
And she had a brain lesion. It was very rough. And when I was 18, I had to become my mom's healthcare proxy. And so I had to make decisions, basically, with my mom's life, and it was at such a young age, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So before she passed away, we had kind of a rocky relationship, and I think, what was the other part of your question?
I wanted to understand how your relationship with your mother impacted your perception of women as you went through the growing pains of adolescence.
Yeah, I mean, I picked a bunch of bad relationships. Yeah. I don't think, I think I was trying to find the opposite of my mom, which was an unloving person. She was such a loving person, and.
Oh, so so despite the resentment you felt, she still gave you love.
She still gave me love. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I can never take that from it. I'm blessed in that way of she was very supportive and loving. But it was tough, and I ended up in a bunch of really toxic
relationships,
codependent
Just trying to find the opposite.
relationships. Yeah. And I mean, right, I'm blessed now to like have such an amazing woman in my life, and she's just like, I mean, nobody I've ever been with before, and I'm just so blessed. I honestly don't know why she's with me, to be honest with you. I'm like, what? I don't understand this, but
This is the woman that's giving you a daughter.
yes, that's right.
That's
yeah.
poetic.
Yeah,
That is,
beautiful.
wow.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So, and yes, I would say now I think I kind of turned it around a little bit, but past relationships, looking at, definitely did not shape, because I didn't have the right idea of like what to look for in a relationship to like for unity. Mm-hmm. Like what am I looking for out of a woman for like not just like physical attraction or lustful, like whatever, like how can I find somebody to be with for the rest of my life? And that was very difficult. That's very difficult.
Damn. Let me ask you, what is the most painful chapter of your life that you rarely talk about?
Yeah. Well, I think I have a story that I would love to tell people. I don't know if I'm ready to tell it right now. I think I'm still building.
That's fine.
I do have a very interesting story, but I think, one I will share with you was my best friend, Richie, passed away from a heroin overdose in my bathroom when I was 16, he was 19.
Shit.
And that one definitely, I found him. He passed away in my bathroom when I was sleeping.
God.
And so I woke up and he was dead in my bathroom. And so that definitely is something that I rarely, like, people from that I grew up with. He was a very popular kid, and his family's really big where I'm from, but. I don't really talk about it like that as much anymore because, definitely very impactful, and why I'm so heavily focused on, folks in recovery.
Yeah. There's a lot of examples you've given, coming from poverty, seeing your mother, though loving, of you being very complacent within the assistance that she was receiving, I guess. What was that main, when you went into like real estate, like before you got there, I guess, like what was that main thing that really sparked the forest fire, so to speak, that said, yo, I need a different life. No one's gonna build this for me. I need to do it. Because clearly you had it in your mind that you're a provider. You gotta be a provider.
Yeah.
You gotta go out and hunt if you wanna eat, right?
Yeah.
What caused the flame to not only spark but spread?
Yeah,
Because there gotta be something, bro. Motherfucker, you close. You close, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
you know.
You gotta be a closer.
You're tenacious. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be a humble closer.
Yeah,
right? People speak bad about humility too, and I hate that. I despise that with a passion. I think that no matter how successful somebody gets, I think remaining humble and teachable
necessary
is the best way to depart from this world, because then you're going to learn something different. Right? So I always look to remain humble, but legacy, man, just the thoughts of it's very deep, but
please.
Both every man in my bloodline that I know of like direct bloodline, like, you know, grandfather and stuff like that. We're all degenerate people. They're all like my grandfather on my dad's side was, you know, a drug dealing pimp in the Bronx.
Wow.
You know, that was kicked out of Puerto Rico and then kicked out of New York, and they shipped him back to Puerto Rico.
Wow, boy.
And so and like my dad was that. My grandfather on my mom's side was also a degenerate. So I think I there's something that I always think about of having to fight to change my bloodline forever. And I'm the only one that has the opportunity to do that in this world right now. And I think that is what drives me the most, is that thought of when I depart from this world, like, did I attempt to do that?
Rewriting the narrative, yeah.
You know, and so that is what drives me, because nobody knows what's going to happen to us after we die, right?
That's a fact.
But if I could imagine, you know, seeing my father again, or my grandfather, and them looking at me with respect of the work I just put in, that I just changed our whole bloodline. I think like that, the thought of that just, you know what I mean? Like really, you know, fires me up, you know?
Damn. I love that, bro. I'm right there with you, man. Yeah. I want to be able to do something, to not only do something different, but to do it being the person that no one expected it from.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Especially given the struggles I've had, you know what I mean? So I'm right there with you in terms of legacy. You know, I think about how I'm gonna be remembered every fucking day.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to get to at some point you got to ask yourself, when you're in the midst of the fucking dirt, it's like, was I really put here to be a fuck nigga?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Dude, facts. And, you know, I think, you know, the argument, you know, what I've realized recently was that my brain is the biggest enemy to me, to my spirit.
Yeah.
And that's a hard pill to swallow, right? It's like that's supposed to be your number one ally, right? You think, but it's really not. And I think the argument to that is, oh, well, like in 1,000,000 years, 1,000 years, nobody's gonna remember anyone, and all of this, whatever, dude. Who cares? Like, who cares if we're living in the moment right now, right? Like, I care about this moment right now. I don't care about 1,000 years from now, right? What I care about is, how can I be a role model to my kids? And honestly, man, I'm forcing myself to care about that, because like where I come from, we don't like responsibility, dude. Like, responsibility is not. So I force myself to focus on that. Does that make sense? Like, I force myself to think about responsibility. And even if you don't love it, even if you find, like, again, I think that you should do, like, in terms of occupation, you should do something that you love, right? But I don't think that I can ever love real estate 100%. Right? There's always going to be, especially anything that's worth fighting for or achieving, it's not going to be this. There's going to be elements of it that are going to be very uncomfortable, right? And I'm not gonna pretend to love those uncomfortable moments, but I'm going to love I'm going to respect the process.
Yes. You got to put your head down and you got to endure it.
Yeah, man.
That's the key. Yeah.
And then also, like, try to learn from these, like, dude, I go through challenges every single day. All I do all day. And all I do all day, and I tell this to my kids all the time, is all we have to do is solve problems. It's very simple. The bigger problems you solve, the more results that you will achieve, you will get in life. And what I mean result is in terms of money, right? Because people think about this man-made thing, and it rules their world. And like I used to chase money. I used to do things for money that were not good things, right? When and never like God will give that to me, but I can't enjoy the results from those things.
Yes. Well, I want to ask, you talked about feeling like you didn't belong, like you weren't good enough, like people were better than you in certain rooms and shit. What part of yourself have you had to fight the hardest to overcome? Would you say that was the major part, or would you say there was something else beyond that maybe that insecurity stemmed from?
Yeah, I mean, I have to fight me every single day. I have this like long story, but the end of the story is that I have to basically kill the old Jordan every single day. Every single day. And at first, the old Jordan was massive. He was big, he would always win. He would win the fight every single day. All right? And eventually, like the Jordan that I am today, he started winning some days. Not every single day, but he would win some days. And then he became stronger. And he became stronger and stronger. And every day is that fight and that battle of insecurity, not believing, being very cynical, just thinking that things aren't going to work out, even if I try my hardest. What I've realized also is that it's the trying. I have people say this, and I used to hate it, but it's the trying, it's the love of just trying that is the reward. And I'm just kind of getting there, because people would say shit like that to me, and I'd be like, get the fuck out of my face. Like I don't want to hear that shit, dude. Because I feel so disgusting in myself that I don't even want to hear somebody say something like that. Get that shit out of my face. But
because this world is so vain, we're judged on what we succeed at, not in what we attempt.
Exactly.
But when we're older in age and we think back on those regrets, you wish that even if you failed, that you at least tried.
Because you don't know. That's the problem. You don't know. And so, I mean, I guess to answer your question directly, it's really just, it's all of, your childhood shapes generally who you are, right?
Freudian, yes, sir.
So, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? And so, by that metric, I didn't want to, every part of me is not supposed to be what I'm doing right now. Like the old video games where like you go outside the board and it just keeps on respawning you. That's how I feel every time. Just like pushing the boundary.
Yeah.
And it just keep on trying to, and you just keep on fighting. It's tough. It's tough for men now. I think we overlook it right now, and I think maybe like as a society, I think we're starting to kind of dive into it. But there is something about like the older generation of like the World War II guys that were just like they did, like no matter what. I always think about what it was like being on the ship on the way to Normandy.
Shit, yo, bro.
Could you imagine
I love the fact that you say shit like this because not enough people think like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to know, yes, I want to understand the experience of that. I want to, like, what did it feel like? What did it smell like? What the fuck was that? That shit is scary as hell, bro.
Could you imagine, like, this, again, like the smells and like the like what is going through like biological, like what is going through
Oh
your
my
body?
God. That tells you who you truly are. You know what I mean? Are you gonna endure or are you gonna run? Are you gonna help or is it all about you?
Is it? Yeah. And,
You know?
like that is like, and people might call it toxic, but like a real, like most men are not built for that. Dude. Mm-hmm. Like, you know,
I don't think that's toxic. I think that's a fact.
That's a fact. No, but people are like, oh, you know, that's, you know, we didn't ask them how they felt. Like they didn't have the choice. Like it was like, yo, I gotta go and I'm not coming back.
These are kids,
like,
bro.
you know
These are people like 17, 18 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
Kids,
Yeah.
dude, kids. They were kids, dude. Like they didn't even know. I couldn't even think about what an 18-year-old kid.
Dude, at
on the way
17 years old, I graduated high school and I cursed out my teachers. I couldn't imagine being fucking.
I think about that stuff all of the time because I think you know, I always want to put myself. I always seek to understand people. Mm-hmm. I want to before. I think we're always judgmental. I think we're naturally judgmental.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We're naturally judgmental. Everything negative, we all live on the spectrum of that to some degree. That's just human nature.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, and I love the fact that you're so self-aware of yourself and of human nature that you can say that. Because it's so easy for us, especially as men, to be like, oh, jealousy, that's a bitch trait and shit like that. But we all experience these things. Pettiness, whatever, cowardice, whatever.
Absolutely.
We all experience that to some extent.
You know, right now I just started to dive into the Bible pretty heavy. One of my favorite books. I haven't read the whole Bible yet, but Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes, am I saying that right?
I couldn't tell you, but I'm gonna tap in.
So you should please let me know what you think. It's Ecclesiastes. I think I'm probably saying that wrong.
It's all good. These names are fucking hard to say.
Man, when I tell you, it's kind of like a. I'm no theologian at all, but it's King David, I believe, and it's kind of like his reflection of life and his conclusion. And you know, one thing that he says, and I think about this often, is more wisdom comes more grief. And and that it's like it's such a double-edged sword when you have a level of intelligence and self-awareness, but also it can be harmful.
Yeah, because you know it, but you can also feel the weight of that knowledge. You know what I mean? And it can hurt sometimes, you know what I mean? To know, like, I mean, I'm just saying for an example, like at one of my worst times, like I was aware of the fact that I was a bad person, which helped me become a better person. But that awareness could have almost killed me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was suicidal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. That's a fact.
And the one of the revelations in that book is he talks about, he's like, but even the fool and the wise man still have the same fate. And you know, and then so he starts to go into like, well, I would rather just be a fool then, right? Or better yet, I would rather just or I would rather not be born at all, because then I'd feel then I'm not a fool, or I feel no grief of a wise man, and that is crazy. But when when you start to kind of like break down, I look to achieve wisdom, but there is a level of not discomfort, of sadness that comes with wisdom sometimes.
That's a fact.
That I wish that I sometimes would not seek wisdom. That sometimes I wish that I could just be a fool. It's almost like when Neo like takes the red pill or blue pill. Mm-hmm. It's like, which one he took the red pill?
I believe so. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've seen bits and pieces. I'll be honest. Like I haven't seen the whole thing.
The Matrix. You should definitely watch it.
I need to.
Fantastic movie. I love that movie. But there's one. There's a scene. I'm sure you may have seen it at some point where the red pill,
the red or blue pill. Yeah.
The
absolutely.
red and the blue pill allows him to go back and like erase his memory of that ever happening and just like live in ignorance. And it's like, sometimes you just would rather pick the blue pill.
Yeah, I mean, I have conversations all the time with people. It's like, sometimes I wish I was like fucking dumb.
That's it. Because you can live such a peaceful
life.
Almost more peaceful life that way.
When you're aware of the woes of the world, I mean, it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift to understand the weight of this reality. You know what I'm saying? But it's also painful because it's hard to avoid it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tough. Like, I mean, I have this conversation often, and a lot of people aren't aware of it, but it's like, whether you believe we are currently in fascism or if you believe that we're on the road to fascism, either way, fascism is in the fucking conversation in 2026.
Which is crazy.
That's fucking insane.
It's all rough, and I think that being people that are aware, they have this like duality of like, I'm very like in my brain, like, very cynical, to myself, in my brain. But I also have a high level of optimism, right? So it's like, so but I force myself to be optimistic, right? Because optimism comes from foolishness sometimes, right? Because like, if you think about it, like, a wise man most of the time isn't a gambler.
I'm definitely not a gambler.
But you can also win and make $1 million, and so you can, you could be humble. I'm not humble. You could be, optimistic, and like, okay, well, what about if I make, $100,000 off this bet if somebody's gambling, opposed to somebody that is like wise and be like, well, I'm not going to spend my $1,000 to potentially lose it, right? And so, being an entrepreneur is that. It's like a gamble. I remember, you know who Alex Hormozy is? So Alex Hormozy runs something called acquisition.com, and he wrote a book called I think it's called the $100 Million Offer. Great person. I think that you would very much enjoy some of his content. He explains entrepreneurship in a way. He'll say like entrepreneurship's like looking out, being on a boat and looking out into the abyss and looking back and seeing and knowing that I can go back home and be safe, but knowing that in that abyss could be something like amazing paradise or not. And charging full speed ahead. And so it's like it kind of defies logic.
It goes against our basic survival instinct. To stay at what's known. You know what I mean?
You have to be crazy. Naturally, we're all fearful of and especially being uncomfortable, right? Like entrepreneurship and sales is very uncomfortable.
It is, because you literally wake up every day. You start from zero.
Every day, you start from zero.
To wire yourself to the point where you're on 150 and to potentially not get a sale or to get rejected or whatever the fuck, to build yourself up to be that to be that big, to potentially feel so small because you're shot down, but to be able to still understand who you are despite it. That's tough.
It's tough, man.
That was one of the hardest things I dealt with in sales. I would big myself up every day. I'm ready to fucking hit a home run every day I go in.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know what I mean? Some days you're gonna catch the fish, and some days no. They're gonna nibble. You're gonna come close to reeling it in, but that motherfucker gonna spit that shit out.
Just knowing that so long as I stay disciplined and I continue and I'm relentless, and knowing that only God can stop me, then you're guaranteed to succeed. You're guaranteed to succeed if you just don't stop. If you don't stop, what else can stop you in this world? Nothing. Nothing can stop you. If you just full speed ahead, I don't care what the result is. I'm just going to do this every single day, even if I lose every single day. If I make 1,000 phone calls every single day and I get a no, just the law of the universe.
Law of attraction.
It's going to reward you.
Yes.
See, that's the vetting process.
Manifestation. Hell yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
You should write a book, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Bro.
One day.
Yeah.
I got to create more result, man. You know, I think I love building something. Real estate sales, it just so happened to be the thing right now, and I think. It's somebody has to do it. People hate real estate agents.
They do.
I didn't know when I got my real estate license that I was gonna be on the same level of used car salesman. Shout out to used car salesmen. I know amazing car sales guys. And those guys are are relentless, and they can grind, and most of them have integrity.
Yes,
right?
yes.
The ones that don't have integrity, whatever. But I didn't know that I was going to be hated. And then I realized that there was an opportunity to show the marketplace a different standard. And so that's what I'm looking to do now, man. I'm looking to show the marketplace a different standard of real estate agent, being able to serve people in a different way that historically they've been served in the real estate industry, and my goal is to try to change the public perception of real estate salespeople and salespeople in general, because right now we just got such a bad rap.
I think you're well on your way.
Yeah.
What you actually said was a beautiful segue into my next question. What does success give you emotionally that you once felt you were missing?
You ask really good questions, man.
I do a lot of thinking.
Yeah. So could you repeat that one more time?
Absolutely. What does success give you emotionally that you once felt you were missing?
The validate to this is very, very, very difficult to explain.
Take your time, King.
The feeling of the right to live. I know that sounds kind of weird, but when I kind of tell my story, people will understand where I'm coming from. But I feel like I have to earn the right to live, and that kind of goes back to
earn the right to live.
Yeah, earn the right to because historically my bloodline has not has not served the world.
You have to
and
contribute.
I have to.
I definitely get what you're saying. You have to earn your right to be here. I get it. I get it. Is that sort of what you're getting at, right?
Yeah, and that the only way to do that is through a result of some level of success. Mm-hmm. And so the right to live. I know it's kind of sounds weird, but
No, it doesn't sound weird at all. I 100% wholeheartedly agree.
I think I've had very little in my life. I've had a lot, and I've had in terms of material things. And I can tell you unequivocally that I was more happy looking forward to the small one thing that I had. It was a piece of food, and it was like bare minimum, like peanut butter and jelly, right? Opposed to like now I have options, and I can go to 677 Prime. I could go to visit, but like when you are stripped down so much that you have one thing, that one thing is so there's something so special about it.
Yes.
And you cherish that thing.
Yes.
And there's like a level of like dopamine that is released, and opposed to like right now I could drive down to the city and go to the most expensive steakhouse if I wanted to, right? And like, but like that, is there a level of happiness there? I love steakhouses, sure, but like there is also something so deep about having very little.
It's all about earning your right to be. No matter what, you can contribute. You know what I'm saying? But it looks different.
And everyone's right to be is different.
That's what I'm saying.
Their right to be is different. The load of that I think is it might be different than somebody else's. And I'm not looking to look at somebody else's situation opposed to mine and be like, oh, okay, well, like, you know, I'm working harder. I think it's natural to compare, right? Comparison's the thief of joy, right? That's what oftentimes. But like it's so true, you know. And you talk about somebody that lived with very little, Teddy Roosevelt, and he was also he wasn't from the capital region, but he was up in Albany for a long time. He was the governor. But you know, I think about that often. I just remember this one specific time in my life where like I had literally nothing, and all I had was a peanut butter and jelly, and I was so happy. I was so happy to have that, and you know, opposed to like when you start to accumulate, like I think oftentimes people think that more stuff, like more material things, are going to make you happy. I don't know what's going to make somebody else happy. For me, like it's going to bring a level of joy, but
It's not sustainable. Happiness.
No.
It brings it brings the sense of happiness that's fleeting.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What is peace? Being able to be okay with yourself in the present moment. Being able to opt for serotonin rather than dopamine.
Yeah.
Fuck the whole I want now. It's like, no, I'm cool without it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Instant gratification.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and you know, there's so many things. I mean, we could get into how social media and technology exacerbates that.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just being okay with the present moment. I forget if it was Lao Tzu or if it was Confucius, but one of those wise philosophers said, if you are living in the past, you're depressed. If you're living in the future, you are anxious. But if you're living in the present, you're at peace.
I've heard that before. I think it was Confucius. I don't know. Maybe
I think so too. I forget which.
Yeah. But it's so true.
It is.
You know, but it's hard to not think about the future, right? Because oftentimes, especially like when you're in business, you have to look at the future, right? Like you have to look at like a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year,
You got to do the
10-year plan.
forecasting, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Everybody's business looks different. It's not one shoe fits all, right? That's the saying. It's not that. It's so different. And somebody's level of success and definition of success can be different than somebody else's, and that's okay. It's like that's an issue that I know we're facing as a society right now, and it's tough, man.
That's a fact. Tell me about a moment when you genuinely believed you might fail.
Always.
Okay.
I always think I'm gonna fail at something. I'm positively optimistic.
Okay.
So I'm positively optimistic. No. I'm skeptically optimistic.
Skeptically, okay.
Optimistic. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
that's. But yeah, I always think I'm gonna fail, man. But you gotta look for the fail, dude. I did not get that far academically, but I learned so much real life experience through failure that nothing else could have taught me. So always, dude.
But it's like you have even through failure, it's like failure teaches you more than success. You know what I mean? Because it teaches you how to move better. Like we have to make mistakes. We make mistakes growing up, and you have to make the mistakes in order to learn how to move correctly.
Absolutely.
It's what I tell people a lot. It's epistemic humility. It's the openness to being wrong on the path to becoming right.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So going in with the notion that, like you said, being a skeptic, being optimistic with skepticism, that's realistic, because you don't want to. There's a level of delusion that's necessary to be successful, but being realistic in the way you said it protects you, because you're ready for either. You're prepared for either outcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's necessary, because if I go in and I tell myself, I'm not gonna fail, I'm gonna hit this out the park no matter what, that the chance that exists of you failing, man, if that shit actually happens, bro, that might stop you from trying again.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so the real estate sales industry is one of the most saturated industries in the world, possibly top 3, right? I think is that fair to say?
I think that's very fair to say.
Is
yes.
it fair to say that the barrier to entry is so low that pretty much anyone could get licensed?
Yeah, 100%.
So with that said, the failure rate raised from, so the 70% of real estate agents would fail in the first 3 years, 3 to 5 years. Okay. That raised up to 90%.
Jesus.
In the past, in 2025, it was raised up to 90%. So if there are 10 people standing in a room that are all looking to be successful real estate agents, only one of them will succeed.
Wow.
Based on those metrics. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
But fuck it though, anyway. Because if you want something, then just do it. And if you fail, but you only fail if you quit.
Yes.
Like
that's true.
That's the only way. But you can have short-term challenges, right? You could have short-term, like you can call as many people as you want, and keep on cold calling, and you're never. But eventually, the law of the universe, it's gonna come to you eventually.
Yes.
It's just numbers.
Let me ask you. I think, because I got to the point, like with real estate, even when I knew it wasn't for me, I didn't want to just
give up on it.
Because you invested so much
100%.
time. Yeah.
So I'm like, but it's like at some point you gotta know this just isn't for me.
Yeah.
You gotta know I gotta hang it up. I gotta be realistic. Like, is that still quitting? I guess I want to know, because I feel like there's a difference, but I want to know how you view that.
Well, I guess if you're looking at it from a sense of like, if you're kind of compartmentalizing different things, like, and if it's just real estate, then maybe you revisit it. Mm-hmm. But what did you learn from that experience?
I learned from my time in real estate, I learned patience truly is a virtue. That's something I lacked. I learned that you cannot live within the romanticism of success. You know what I'm saying? You have to be rooted in reality.
Yeah, and I think that, listen, man, that's fair. It's like, I think, also, am I able to serve people in the way they deserve it in this space?
Yeah.
Right? When I was in the nonprofit space, first of all, that was one thing. Being an executive director for a nonprofit organization was something that I dreamed about doing from such a young age, and I loved it. It was one of the most rewarding parts. I worked with at-risk youth, ran a youth employment program for 3 years with at-risk youth, and it was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And we created, nutrition, food insecurity programs for, low-income communities, and we did so much, and I had to leave because the bureaucracy and the politics in that space, it was something that I was not anticipating.
Yes, sir.
And I felt like I failed. Leaving that was very difficult for me. Mm-hmm. It was very difficult for me because it was something that I always wanted to do, but very similar to you, it led me to a place where I felt like I was a failure in there in that space. Mm-hmm. But it just led me to where I could best serve people. Yes. And I took everything that I learned there, and I learned so much, and I was surrounded by such amazing people there. I had great mentors and just great people around me that taught me a lot, and I just took all of that and I brought it into being able to serve people. And again, I take real estate sales in a different approach than a lot of people do. But how can we best serve? My first rule in real estate sales is, how can I best serve somebody 100% the best way possible, the most honest, and listen, real estate sales is it's such a different industry than any other place, because you have to really play nice with your competition, because your competition will also be your coworker.
That's a fact.
Oftentimes people don't know, and when you're buying and selling real estate, usually there's two agents. Mm-hmm. Generally, there's one representing the buyer and one representing the seller. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, they're representing both buyer and seller.
Yeah, that's called a dual agent, right?
Dual agency. Yeah. And so, And not everyone has the same goal of serving people in the highest level possible.
That's a fact.
Or look out for the best interest. Mm-hmm. Or a lot of real estate agents often are very egocentric.
Yeah.
Right? And so they care more about how they look, and they don't care as much about their clients in terms of I'll give you an example.
Please.
So when I sit down with a seller, I tell them that there's probably an agent that's going to tell them everything that they want to hear to put their sign in the yard, no matter if it's going to yield that person a result or not. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to shoot you straight. And if that means, if me telling you the truth means that I don't get the business, then at least I get to walk out of here with integrity.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a fact.
Now, there are going to be agents that are going to just come here and put the sign in the yard so they can make a video in their house, a social media video so they can show everyone else that they are.
I got this listing.
I got this listing, and I have this sign in the yard.
Yeah.
And not sell the house.
I got motion. Yeah.
And guess who that hurts?
Stagnant motion. It hurts the fucking client.
It hurts the client. Because I tell people this all the time. Listen, I am a communicator of data. That is it. I never like a language, like sometimes agents will say like, well, I suggest your house is worth X amount of dollars. I'll never use that language. It's always the market suggesting it. And I'm just the communicator of that. The marketplace is its own person. The marketplace is its own entity. And I am I'm a middleman between the market and a consumer. And so all I'm here to do is help the marketplace and a consumer interact with each other. And, but that's the thing, man. People will just do things for ego, and they are my enemy.
Think about it. Capitalism is not inherently bad. I don't believe anything is inherently bad, but human nature brings about the negative aspects of these things. And I believe real estate teaches people how to maneuver within the chessboard of capitalism in an ethical way.
Absolutely.
If you know what I mean? That's what it's supposed to do. That's how you're playing the game.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's meant to do. Of course, naturally, everybody isn't gonna go by that set of rules, but going about it, these sales positions and whatnot, like, learning to be friends with your competition and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, that says a lot about who you are as a person. That's a real test of character. You know what I'm saying? I'm not somebody that's willing to just to be somebody that's not willing to just step on toes just to get a leg up, just to get a quick paycheck or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, do you know how many people throw me under the bus? I can't even tell you. And you know what? I see these guys all the time. I show people respect when it's earned. Right? In the marketplace, I'm Jordan the Realtor, and there's a way that Jordan the Realtor deals with competition and agents, and there's a difference. There's a separation, but I would say a lot of guys, man, they take advantage of people, and they are my enemy for sure. I have no problem putting those people out of business because they're not serving people, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to serve people.
Like the sheriff of realty.
I know. You can't arrest anybody,
Yeah, but you can get them the fuck up out of here in your own way. You can, at the very least, you can take their clients.
Well, and you only can do that and the marketplace is the one that dictates that. The marketplace is the one that's going to either say this is the right thing that you're doing, the wrong thing, and the way it's going to communicate is by result. All right. And so I was talking to an agent today, a new agent, and she was telling me about this agent that was telling her about all this like social media stuff. And I'm very respectful. I don't speak bad on people, but I was, I basically just said like, well, look at that person's result. Are they producing or are they not? And that person's not really producing. And so that means that what is the marketplace suggesting?
Yeah. Yeah, this person is not it. Yeah, 100%.
You know,
The way they're doing it.
It might not be the person; it's just the method.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The method in which they're employing.
And I think that everybody has the capacity to learn and change and grow, but it's up to them.
We all have the ability, but do we have the willingness?
The willingness to do it.
Yeah. I come back to that often because it really is universal. That said, what misconception do people have about you because they only see your success?
They think oftentimes that I come from money.
Fair enough.
Listen, I try to present in such a way that I speak a lot differently than I did when I was growing up.
Yeah, you're very, very articulate. Absolutely.
I did not speak like this. I say, I'll go home. I have very little friends now, but not very little friends. I don't want to say that. I have a lot of love. I have a lot of great relationships around me, but I have one friend that's from where I'm from. One single one that I talk to regularly, and he just cannot believe sometimes of like the way I speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that oftentimes people think that, again, like I'm from, money, and that I'm not at all.
You got to carry yourself the way it is. You got to carry yourself it's like what you want to grow into, you got to carry yourself that way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to articulate that in a better way, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, 100%.
And I think you've been, it's fair to say you've been doing that. You know what I'm saying? You have to. You know what I mean?
You have to do that. 2017, I started listening to some. I don't know if you know who Patrick Big David is.
Patrick who?
Patrick Big David. He has a podcast called the PPD podcast. It's a little political now, but when it first started, it was really about entrepreneurship and just being like a better man. And one thing that I learned, and at that time I was waiting tables at a restaurant. I didn't have a car. I was taking the bus everywhere. And
2017, huh?
2017, yeah. And so I would listen to this guy on the bus, going to the restaurant, and he would say things like that. He would say you have to be who you want to be in the next. You have to act who you're going to be today, who you're going to be in the next 20 years. How does that person speak? What do they look like? What are their, and so I think about that. I think about that often, for sure. And also, people think I'm a white boy. But I'm actually Puerto Rican. A lot of people think that.
I thought you were Italian.
No, I have an Italian last name, but I'm Puerto Rican and British. So
interesting. Wow, yeah. This can't judge a book by its cover. Goddamn.
I know.
I mean, shit. You know what I mean?
Maybe I was adopted. Maybe they're lying to me. I don't know.
Holy shit! What has this career cost you as a human being?
Definitely emotional turmoil.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it definitely is. I was thinking about this the other day. It's not a job to me, man. It's a lifestyle that I live. I tried to look for work-life balance. There is none. For what I'm looking to build, there's none. It's either you take this lifestyle or you don't. And so it's definitely, but it is a beautiful thing to be able to do it. Even though sometimes I'm bitching and moaning about it, Shout out to my wife. She's the one that listens to me. I understand that for what I'm looking to achieve, I have to give it everything. So there's no, and I'm just blessed to have a person in my life, like my significant other, that is also on this ride with me. and she's just amazing. And my kids also are just like understand, and like you know, my younger son, he's 8 years old. Oh, he's gonna be 8, and he doesn't like, he's just starting to understand. But it's hard for him to understand. He doesn't live the same life that I did when I was his age. So
That's what's up, man. And I think when you are ready to share your story and really paint yourself, and not saying that you don't paint yourself as a human now, but
Sure,
I think
sure, sure.
that'll help deepen that understanding. You
For
know what
sure.
I mean? And yeah, man, I can't wait to hear the full story.
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I definitely off camera I always tell you, but
Of course. Your career's over and people no longer describe you as a successful realtor, what do you hope remains true about who you were?
that I always stayed authentic. That I always keep a level of integrity through layers of success where people lose it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Because you get to like a level, like there's certain levels I think that you can only get to by sacrificing something very, very important. And if it, I hope that once I get to that level, these challenges, that like I don't make the decision to give up that integrity. Does that make sense? Yeah, especially, like for like legacy and and like for my kids and, for my boys, I hope they, even if I can only hit whatever level of success, if it costs me that level of integrity, I hope that I make the decision not to spend that.
That's the value. That's the value of character. You know what I mean? Being able to maintain your integrity, you know what I mean, through instability. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? Yeah, to maintain that. Yeah. Okay. I like that, brother.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
You know
I was
what I'm
trying to
saying?
think about that, and I was trying to. Those are really good questions. So I'm
Thank
like,
you. Thank you.
what do you say to that? And dude, I appreciate this, man. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Dude, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
an
absolutely,
absolute
dude,
pleasure,
absolutely,
brother.
bro. I
Hell
appreciate
yeah,
you, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.